All right, we're going to look at the back side now of this worksheet. The calculator can do all the heavy lifting with the calculations, so we don't need to worry about making arithmetic mistakes when we plug numbers in. We don't have to worry about signs. We don't have to worry about anything if we let the graphing calc do the work for us. So it says, let's take a look at a quadratic function. That means an x squared using the graphing calculator. And we're going to use the table function again. So instead of saying y equals, I'm going to write f of x equals again. All right, so our function is y equals, or f of x equals, x minus 1 squared minus 4. So back in Desmos, I'm going to delete all of the old functions that I had in there. And the way I do that is I'm going to click those little x's. So I didn't need any of those values anymore. And I'm going to now type, I'll do the same thing, f of x, and really we could call it anything, equals. I'm going to do parentheses, x minus 1, close parentheses. Now on the little Desmos keyboard, there's a way to square things. If I'm on the computer keyboard, if I hit Shift and the little caret above the 6, that will allow me to put an exponent in. I want to make sure I'm arrowed out of that exponent again before I do that, minus 4. So there's my new function. And it's a curvy shape. That shape is called a parabola. Anytime I have an x squared, that's going to give me that parabolic shape, that U shape. So let's see what we're being asked here. Create a table of values for this function over the specified interval. So they want us to go from -1 to 4. So from when x is -1 to 4, I'm going to again add a table. And instead of calling it y sub 1, I'm going to call it f of x sub 1. And again, that's the subscript using the shift over the, or the underscore, the shift over the minus sign, or use that ABC keyboard on Desmos. And it wants me to go from -1 to 4. So I'll start with -1. There's my output. When x is 0, there's my output. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's those points. So it looks like that. But the question is, he wants us to graph this over that interval. Well, here's a cool thing that Desmos will do for us. It only wants us to graph from when x is -1 to when x is 4. But if I zoom out, that graph goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm going to hit that little home button that will center me again. What I can do for this function is right next to it, I'm going to type squiggly brackets, and we're going to restrict the x's. So squiggly brackets on my keyboard is right above the square bracket. So I'm going to hit Shift and squiggly brackets. On the Desmos keyboard, if you hit that ABC button in the bottom row, it should give you squiggly brackets. So I'm going to do squiggly brackets and type in exactly what it told us to restrict. So from -1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 4. And if you're trying to find less than or equal to on your computer keyboard, you can literally do less than followed by the equal sign. So what that did is it cut off the function. Now it starts when x is -1 and it ends when x is 4. That's exactly what we wanted it to do. Okay, so if we're graphing it, just that part of the function is what we're looking at. It says create a sketch of this function over this interval. And again, you can copy that right from Desmos onto your PDF. Part C says, what are the function's minimum and maximum values on this interval? So if we didn't restrict it, it would have no maximum value. It would keep going on forever and ever and ever. But over this interval, we can see its minimum value is here. When x is 1, the minimum value is -4. And the maximum value is up here, which would be 5. When x is 4, the y value is 5. Okay, so minimum, maximum, we can tell just by touching on the screen. Next question says, over what interval is the function negative? So when they're asking for an interval, they want something like this. They want a compound inequality there. Over what interval is it negative? Well, that's asking where is it below 0? Where is it below the x-axis? From there up to here. So when it's asking the interval, it's saying what values of x are giving us negative values as outputs. Well, that would start at -1 and end when x is 3. So our answer, what we would be looking for is -1 less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 3. We could debate on the less than or equal to or just less than. I think I would probably do just less than, because when x is -1, it's not negative, it's 0, which is neither negative nor positive. But the idea is thinking about the interval, not so much the details here. It says, for your graph, state the interval over which the function is increasing. Well, again, we read a graph left to right. From here down to here, it's decreasing. And then at that turning point, it starts to increase. So the interval, the x values, would be from when x is 1 to when x is 4. So we'd say it's increasing. 1 is less than x is less than 4. 1 is less than x is less than 4, because it's starting at x is 1 and then stopping when x is 4. Next question says, how can this graph help us solve this equation? Can we solve it by looking at the table? So when is, and this was the function that we typed in, when is it equal to -3? Well, let me look at the table. It's actually equal to -3 when x is 0 and when x is 2. If I look at the graph, the output is -3 2 times, here and here. I can see that by looking at those points or by sliding points around until I get to where I want my answer to be. And that's it for this question. I'm going to let you finish up exercise 3. It says, which of the following is a point where these two things intersect? So go back to Desmos, type those in, and see if you can find where they intersect. All right, so we're going to just, we'll finish up lesson 7 tomorrow, then we're just going to play with Desmos for Monday and Tuesday. All right, and we'll end it pretty easy before Christmas. All right, take care, guys. We'll see you. Bye-bye.